And our top story here at 5:30 is a 17 News special report. Workers at the Alon Refinery in Rosedale burned hundreds of tons of a hazardous chemical at the plant and released the toxic fumes, and they did it all to save money. That's the allegation by the Valley Air District in a civil suit that was quietly settled in Superior Court earlier this month. Anhydrous ammonia is a well-known irritant and corrosive, but Alon says the 2011 incident was a simple misunderstanding.
It is a very hazardous chemical. It can cause significant health effects.
And that's why regulators wonder why the Alon Refinery pumped roughly 100,000 gallons of anhydrous ammonia into a flare that burned the toxic gas and released it into the air for nearly a month in 2011.
They should have sent it to a recycling company that would perhaps try to remove the contamination and recycle the anhydrous ammonia, but in an approved manner, not sent to a flare to be burned.
That's because Constantine says the flare is supposed to be a measure of last resort, a tool that refineries should use to vent a buildup of gases under dire situations. And this, state air regulators say, was no emergency.
It is a desiccant, meaning it'll pull the moisture out of your body and can lead to your eyes and your throat stinging, can lead to permanent damage, and can cause death.
The San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District went back and forth with Alon for some time, filing a notice of violation in May 2012, nearly a year after the flaring. Then, nothing, until earlier this month when the district served Alon with this civil action, pushing a judge to slap the company with two $61,000 fines. Alon lawyers quickly settled the case just days later for $40,000. Roughly a third of what the district had sought. As part of the agreement, Alon admitted no wrongdoing. Alon USA released this statement in response to our request for an interview. Resolution of the district's claims was based on a valid misinterpretation of a permit condition. The matter was settled after considerable discussion and clarification of the issues. Unfortunately, the company cannot respond further at this time because of a pending action. However, we can respond more fully once the remaining matter is resolved. We stress that the public was not at risk because of our actions and that Alon Paramount takes very seriously our responsibility to operate our facilities safely in an environmentally sound manner and in compliance with all regulatory requirements. That pending action is an administrative enforcement order from Environmental Health.
And it's designed to identify what went wrong and what needs to be done in the future.
Here's what the Air District says happened. Crude oil pulled from the ground here in Kern County has a high concentration of ammonia. That's why many refineries use a process that strips the ammonia out into something called sour water that is then sold as agricultural fertilizer. At the Alon Refinery, the Air District says the ammonia is routed into a 300,000-gallon tank that was supposed to have been empty when Alon purchased the plant from Big West in June 2010. But during an annual review, environmental health inspectors found otherwise.
We brought it to their attention because they didn't believe there was anything in the tank.
When the inspectors returned here to the refinery, they were concerned. That tank was now mysteriously empty. The tank is required to be emptied, cleaned, and inspected no less than once every 10 years. At the refinery, the process was overdue, and regulators say the ammonia in the tank had become contaminated. And because Alon couldn't sell the ammonia, air regulators say workers sent the contents directly to the low-pressure emergency flare.
That refinery site is located next to the Kern River. It sits on one of the most contaminated pieces of ground in Kern County. It's surrounded by homes and schools. They have no business doing this kind of thing.
Activist Tom Franz likens the Air District to a paper tiger, limited to filing lawsuits to punish violators.
We need tighter enforcement. We need bigger fines.
And largely toothless at effecting any measurable change.
This sounds to me like business as usual for some of the oil companies. They often find it cheaper to get rid of something illegally than to do it the right way, and of course the fine is sometimes quite a bit less as well.
Now, for its part, the Environmental Health Department says it did not let the public know soon after the incident because the cause in the case was under investigation. We asked the Air District why they didn't alert the public as well 3 years ago when this first took place. After initially providing us a copy of that legal settlement that it reached with Alon, the chief communications officer for the district told us Friday she was stuck in a meeting and unavailable for